It
Hey
should
guys,
be.
so we are live. Good to have all of you here, and just a couple of things who are here. Yeah, actually, I am pleased to announce Eduardo, who is VP of the product, and our Stanislav, actually, who is AI researcher, and myself, I am Olesya Proc, I am client partner in Symphony Solution. So, and today we will have exciting talk about what? About AI, of course. What is the most tremendous and buzzword this year? AI, right? Yet, to be very honest, we had already one episode before about that. I'm not sure if everyone watched that and everyone dived deep into the topic. I would really, really appreciate if you can just recap or explain more. But before that, I want to announce our watchers, yeah, our audience, the agenda. Guys, you can ask any question you like during our conversation. We will have, I think, roughly 15 or 10 minutes at the end of the conversation to answer those questions. So means that pop-up questions, but we will address them at the end. I hope this is clear. And now we're back to the main topic. So I would really appreciate if you guys can highlight what is AI agent itself, because kind of I'm talking to ChatGPT every day, honestly. Yet, what is the difference?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Thank you, Alessia, for this question. Last time we talked about AI trends, and especially we highlighted that the next frontier of AI will be AI agents, and we talked a lot about that. And so what is AI agents? It is the systems which can think, reason, actually independently act and do some sophisticated multi-step tasks. And if like a metaphor for this is like 911 dispatcher who is getting information from someone, quickly, rapidly analyzing the information, who is talking, what is the level of criticity, what are the coordinates, what are the emergency services around, and then effectively orchestrating all these emergency services to come at the right place for the right place, for the right person. And actually, this is what agents are doing
Okay,
independently.
let's
And
say I'm a player, yeah? So I want to play. Uh, how it works in real world, how can that actually impact my player experience, you know?
Yeah, I can probably answer that one. So if we're talking about a player of say, an online casino or an online sports book, just to give it a bit of context here, um, the way that AI agents can help is by assisting those players. Let's imagine you're a new player, right? So you've just signed up, or you're in the process of signing up with a new with an operator. Um, you've got an agent chat window that pops up, and it can actually start to engage with you in a very natural way and guide you through the steps that are required to set up your account, to answer any questions you might have. So it can start really with the very first touch points, perhaps even before you are actually a customer, right?
Yeah.
And then keep with you all the way through that sort of acquisition process, and actually keep you engaged. Make sure you find that online experience to your liking, that you can find the right content. Yeah, so it can really be something that is with you the whole time, if you like. Quite different from a traditional chatbot, as we explained in our previous webinar. These are
Oh, don't mention that. This
intelligent.
is pain of my life, you know. Hey, I am whatever I am, and sorry, I didn't get your question. Did I help? Yes or no? And that's it. I really like
Yeah,
something or somebody walk me through that, you know, through
that's
all
right.
those stages.
Well, yeah, I mean, the way we have a solution, obviously, we have Bet Harmony, which does exactly that, really. So the crux of it is for the AI agent, first of all, to establish what is the, let's call it the intent. What is the goal? And that's a pretty good clue as to if something is agentic, because an agent tends to start with the concept of some goal or some action that needs to be achieved. So, normally they'll say, how can I help you, right? What is it you're looking for? and then the user responds. At the moment, it might be responding via text. You might be inputting your chat, but there's also the concept of voice, a multimodal experience, where you might just be speaking to that agent and say, hey, listen, I'm going through the onboarding process at the moment. I'm a little bit confused here. How do I actually deposit my funds? And that agent then can explain that process and guide you through that. So that's how an agent might work in one use case, if you like. But it can extend beyond that. It might be that you say something like, listen, I really love a James Bond themed slot game from X provider. Where can I find it? Because there's so much inventory of games that you have to scroll through. And the agent can actually bring it up right away, can actually search it, find it, here you go. Or even go one step more, which is to personally recommend something to you. Say, hey, I see that you've been playing a lot of these types of games. We've got a new one that's just launched. Would you like to give it a try?
Hey, I am already hooked up by that.
Yeah. So there's an awful lot there, and really it's about improving that online experience for the end player, which is what's important, right? That's the key thing. Rather than searching through reams and reams and reams of content, I think in the future when we talk to our children perhaps, and we explain to them that back in our day we had to search for things, and whole companies were built to provide search capabilities. That will seem pretty old-fashioned, I would say. Yeah.
Could be. Yeah, but what is under the bonnet, actually, what you described sounds really amazing and good experience, and kind of even, as far as I get, doesn't matter how experienced I am in the search or recommendation or in the games. I can kind of rely on that advice from the agents. Does anything to add? What is under the bonnet?
Yeah, so let me bring some light about the technical part. So because all these things Eduardo just mentioned, it sounds like something unreal, so something. Well, it's not fantastic, but we show me first,
Seems to
and
be
then
true, right?
talk about this. Yeah, okay. Technical part. So actually, when we talk about AI agents, we need to, again, come back to the previous webinar just for a few minutes and show the difference. Because all of you talking every day with your favorite chatbots. It could be Grok, it could be GPT, it could be Claude from Anthropic, whatever. I don't mind. And actually, is it an agent? No, it's not an agent. It's just very smart model which can read and think, yes, but they are not agents. So what is the agent? So typically, when we talk about agents, it operates with four stages. So it's perceive, think or reason, act and learn. So this is the difference. Where is the difference? So when we talk about perceiving information, it's gathering and analyzing information from different resources. It could be voice, text, as Eduardo mentioned. So when we talk about multimodality, it could be visual information, it could be whatever. And then so AI here, AI agent here is a vigilant teacher during the exam. All the feelings are opened to identify who is cheating during the exam. So and then the most important thing, which actually you all use with your chatbots, it's reasoning and thinking. So models are not pulling out any predefined answers. No, the AI agent acts as strategic brain, which thinking really understands the task. It think, reason, and create an action plan. And then actually this action plan, and even it can consult And this is a difference, different databases or API streams, whatever, in order to make the better action plan, to build the better algo. And then it acts independently. It acts based on the previous step. So it creates an action plan and then it acts within this plan. And the main difference that your AI agent could be connected to whatever systems which can have an interface. It could be your Google Calendar, it could be HubSpot for your leads, or it could be your fridge, whatever. So if it has an interface, AI agent can connect and act. It means do some task based on its algo. And the last one, which is not which is one of the main, it's learning. It continuously learn it within the feedbacks, and it's so-called data flywheel. Yeah, and the more it's like in sport. The more it plays, the better it games. Well, in sport it doesn't work. For AI it does.
Okay,
So this is basically
I
how it works.
heard the trigger word for myself, fridge, with AI. That's a good one example. Thank you. You hooked me up. I get it that actually let's say I'm talking, I'm asking, I get the advice with the voice, right? So even writing, typing, even pulling the screenshot, I guess, right? Because it's kind of normal now. Yeah, I am loaded the screenshot. But what about the other use cases? For example, I don't know, is there anything else like
Yeah, I
be
mean,
used?
I can highlight some of that. So if we think about, and I had a few conversations with people at some fairly recent trade shows in the online gambling space. And normally we start with what are the challenges? What are the obstacles to growth that the companies that operate within iGaming may face? Now, if we think about some of let's use live dealer studios as an example. So you'll have a live dealer, actually you'll have a number of live dealers because they want to be able to offer that service 24/7.
Exactly.
And if you think about it, what we're trying to do is think how can we scale without relying on headcount, without relying on additional people. So I was having an interesting conversation with a chap who said, it would be great if we could use AI to in real time translate the languages of the people that are speaking as live dealers. That's one example, right? Where you, let's just say I'm speaking now to you in English, but at the same time, I could be broadcasting in Cantonese, right? And my lips would sync. Not at the moment, no. Although I do speak Cantonese, but I digress. But the AI would allow that to happen. And just think about the value that you get then. You have people being able to cover shifts and cover multiple languages and regions. That's quite powerful. Stas was talking about Netflix and their lip syncing technology to me just the other day, in fact. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So,
Actually,
yeah.
here
Yeah,
is
go ahead, Stas.
sorry,
Sorry.
Alisa. Yeah, here is a small difference between Netflix and these live dealers. And first of all, we are talking here more about multimodality, multimodal AI, but agentic AI is also inside. And when we have Netflix, they these lip movements based on the language the character is talking in. It's simple. Yeah, nowadays it's really simple because they have recording. So to change the recording, it's easy. You just change it and that's all. Everybody are seeing the same. For live viewers, it's combination of multimodal AI and actually agentic AI as well. So we have the voice of the dealer. We transcript it into the text, and then this text is translated with advanced translation models and turned back into synthetic voice on the language the user prefer. In parallel, we have a model trained, of course, it's computer vision, trained on the real live dealer. So the model knows all the movements and it receives the same text translated text, and it changes in real time, in parallel with the video stream. It changes the lips movements, and this is not a fantastic anymore. 1 year ago, I would say no. No, it can't be. For me, Netflix was something surprising me. But right now, yeah, we know how to do it, and that is really overwhelming.
That's right. I mean, that's a key thing that you mentioned there, Stas, that things are moving so quickly. You know, you mentioned earlier, let's say, about screenshots. If anybody has used the screen sharing feature from within Google AI Studio, you can actually live stream your desktop and then ask questions about it. So think about the opportunities there. If you're talking to, say, customer service AI agent, right? If you're lost and confused about how to perform some action, then you could use the computer vision modality to allow it to help you and guide you there. So things are changing very, very quickly, indeed.
Speaking about things are changing, I remember, like, from the previous talk, we kind of focused that it will be happening. Yeah. So the next step from the chats and just, you know, that booming of the AI will be agent. And it came, actually, it has came, right?
Yeah.
It means that I'm really, you know, so much captivated, but by all those things. I can rely and see from the, you know, customer point of view, because it's easy to imagine, you know, and we are focused on the end user customers. Yet, for example, you know, from the other end of the stick, there are a lot of companies, and they have to start using something, and tell me what they have to start using, how that can help to the business. I know for sure, for example, some marketing campaigns, PPC campaigns to run. Yeah. So there is the whole squad doing that. Is there anything for there, or I don't know, like anything, how business can know it works at the end, you know, any improvement there?
There are improvements to be made in so many different places. You mentioned large teams in one part of a digital marketing unit, a business unit. And I think the best way to think about how you can use AI agents or groups of agents is to think about, how do you run your business? Let's start there. And if we think about a gambling operator, it's a pretty complex business. Broadly speaking, you have the casino side and you have your sports betting side, kind of a classical division there. But it is complex. You have lots of groups of people working collaboratively. There's lots of communication required. If you imagine a monthly report that needs to go out, let's imagine I'm the CFO or the chief product officer. For me to get that report, an awful lot happens, right? Typically, you've got people speaking to different departments. And this doesn't just happen in gaming, this happens in large enterprises. You have data in all different shapes and sizes, different formats. It almost feels like you spend a month preparing for the report to deliver the report. And once you've got the report out, you're working on the next one again, right? Well, imagine a scenario where instead of having to rely on so many different people, you can have a much lighter touch, but with AI helping you, to the point where me as a CFO, I might just be able to speak into an app and ask it some questions. It might ask some clarifying questions back to me, but I should be able to get that information really quickly without having to ask people to write queries for me and without a lot of iteration going backwards and forwards. So I think there's an awful lot that can happen on the operating side. To answer your question about how do I go about that, well, speak to us is the short answer. Because the first thing that we need to do is understand what is the structure of a business. How do you currently work? And then think about what are the challenges and the opportunities there where agents can help you be more efficient, I would say. And indeed, it's not just about being efficient. I think the real winners in this kind of agentic way of working won't be just those that optimize around efficiency. I think it will be companies that can even create new value, additional value that doesn't exist right now. So it is very much a mindset thing. There's so many things that you can do now, Alessia, It's a question of thinking about where do I focus in the business? What is the area? And probably
Be
there's not
fair.
new things.
This
They're
is,
probably not new
yeah,
things.
sorry.
Like acquisition is always going to be important, and so will engagement and retention. Those things are important. So they might be a clue as to where you want to focus.
I want to be kind of fair, if I may, in terms that it always was the question, how to make company more efficient, yeah, and frameworks and, some recipes, let's say silver bullets. Hey guys, eliminate waste. Hey guys, shorten your delays. It's, I am not telling it does not work. It works, but who will help to, will AI, let me put the question in the way, will AI agent help me to eliminate delays, to make it more efficient, to speed up the process from business point of view?
Yes, is the answer. We're already doing that internally, right? So
That's,
we're
Eduardo, with
already
all due
doing that.
respect, you are talking from the business side. I would
Yeah.
really like to hear from the technical guy here. Yes,
Well,
or
we actually we rely on Stas and his teams to make that happen. So Stas can explain how he does that, but we are doing that with Stas's help and all of his teams. So maybe Stas, you can expand on that.
Yeah, actually, let me be Eduardo's defender, like a lawyer. So whatever Eduardo is telling, it's real true. Well, again, 1 year ago, I would say no, it's these guys telling something which is not actually we able to develop. No. So we had this example with reporting. Yeah. Let me give you an example from real life. So many years ago, probably 5 or 6. So I had a task, very interesting business task. So we had a huge massive of of orders in e-commerce, and I had some sophisticated query to calculate those refunds for orders where there were more than one product, etc., etc. So I was working several days on a huge, massive query with a lot of grouping, aggregation. With I was joining multiple tables. I was trying to avoid anti-patterns. So finally, I did it, and they provided this query. And the guy said, the business analyst said, "Okay, we don't need it anymore. We needed it 2 days ago. Sorry, thank you." I was surprised with that. But now let's think. Okay, we have a lot of every business works with the data. Yes, we have data warehouses, we have relational databases, this SQL, no SQL, we have data streams. We even have Excel tables and Google Sheets. Yeah, I know. Everybody are working in it. And actually, yeah, we have a lot of data. And we need to somehow work with this data. And this data structure changing over time, actually daily. And we need to hire a team of developers who will
actually, I'm
support
sorry
all
for
these.
cutting you off. I can imagine that it's not even changing daily in means in one, I don't know, like one B2B relationship. If I have multiple businesses I have to connect, they could all have different models, right? In
Exactly.
databases and structure and everything.
Exactly. And you need these guys to create these heavy queries. And instead you can use agentic AI agent, which will, as I said, will be connected, integrated with all these data sources. You just tell him what you need, so it perceive. Then it think and reason what it should do, and then it act. And it acts without any algos. It just goes to databases knowing the structure of the data, and it provides you the report which you need. And actually, here is the most funny thing, that AI agent makes your data more trustworthy. Yeah? I'm talking about AI agents, about models which are hallucinating, and we know that we cannot trust GPT or any other model, but it makes our data more accurate. Why? Because it doesn't care about changes in our data structures. And when we talk about the different models you just said, yeah, we have, yes, exactly. We have a lot of businesses. We have a lot of different things which we need mapping. Again, an example from B2B e-commerce, when you have price list. And you as a seller need to upload that price list to the marketplace, and you have to manually map that naming. You need to find the product, etc. It's nightmare. Yes, it's why not to delegate this to AI agents?
Interesting that you mentioned that, Stas. It's a nice segue into a topic that that's quite close to my heart, because it's something that I've been working on with the team quite recently, and that is, if you imagine that you are an operator, you have a whole list of third-party companies that you need to integrate into your platform. It could be data feed providers, it could be casino games providers, etc. The list is a long one, and it takes time, right? It takes time, and you're busy. You've got a huge dev team, and they're keeping the lights on. They're working on new product rollout features, etc., and yet you still have the business pressuring you. When are you going to get this connected? When are you going to integrate this? And one of the things that takes quite a long time is exactly as you said. It's that mapping. You have two different APIs. You have the kind of API from the third party, and then the API on your side, on the platform side. And then there's a process where you need to understand the APIs on both sides, figure out the mappings between them before you can start writing any code to connect them all. And that can take quite a bit of time once you've gone through that process. Well, using a agentic kind of mapping solution could accelerate that and shorten that time tremendously. And that's something that myself and the team are working on at the moment. So if anybody in the audience is interested in that, a shameless plug, just drop me a line and I'll be happy to talk to you about how that can benefit the companies. But there's a lot of things that can be done. And as I said to you, Alessia, it's a question of thinking about what are the areas of the business that you really want to focus on. And a general clue is time, right? If you're spending a lot of time doing a particular thing or collection of things to make something happen, let's look at that. The integrations is a good one, because they take time, right? So I know that somebody asked, can we do a demo today? Well, there's lots of things that we can demo. We have our own agentic system, Bet Harmony, so we're happy to arrange a demo of that, but we're not doing product demos today. We're more talking about different use cases and how we can help you. So just to answer that question that came in. So yeah, leave a comment, leave your details with our moderator, and we'll get back to you for an actual demo.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just, I just want to underline here for myself. What I get, that model could be actually that AI multimodal agent will be adjusted per needs, per business need. Is that correct? And also means that it will be, as Stas said, continuous learning on that agent side. That means that as time goes, it's getting better and better. On the other hand, what hooked me up, Eduardo, when you said, it's just about that change of the mindset, because somehow everyone is trapped in the, kind of cage. Hey, let's make it faster, maybe more efficient. But that's totally different way of thinking, to be honest. Just think what you would like to see or understand or improve, and you will get it with AI. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Or I am too bold to say that?
I think it's interesting. I think it is very much a mindset thing, Alessia. And I see that someone's pinged the question here, which is a good example, actually, of that mindset. I'll read the question out. I know you were going to read it, but I just saw it pop up in my window. And the question here was to imagine the evolution of AI agents 1 or 2 years from now, saying on customer support, what might be the key techniques to identify if you're cooperating with a human or not, right? Now, it might be that you prefer to speak to the AI agent than the human, actually, because the AI agent might be more accurate, right? It's a bit of a joke, but it's an interesting question. Probably you would just ask it, am I speaking to an AI agent, yes or no? That comes down to how the agent is built, whether or not it has been built to say what it is as such. I can give you a live example of something and it's not to do with iGaming, but it's an example of how things are shifting. I was trying to solve a problem with setting up my suspension on a mountain bike. And I contacted the manufacturer on their website and I contacted customer support. Eventually I got through and they didn't answer my question, actually. They completely misunderstood what I was trying to achieve. And I spent like an hour trying to go round and round in circles, taking photos of it, explaining it to them. So I thought, okay, let me just see if I can do it with ChatGPT. ChatGPT answered it actually fantastically within a minute, right? So it's a bit of an eye-opener that actually ChatGPT had access to the actual information that I needed and solved my customer inquiry kind of on behalf of them very well. So yeah, it is a mindset. It kind of made me think, wow, I'm better off solving my suspension question with ChatGPT actually, right? So it's a pretty
Yeah,
interesting,
I
it's very much a
understand.
mindset thing. And things are changing so rapidly. Our founder, Teo, used to say, whatever you think can't be done right now with AI will be done. Yeah.
I have less and less doubts in that because honestly, 2 years ago, when it just had started, you might remember how clumsy those pictures were or some prompts, and now it's not even the question, right? So means that a lot of different stuff popping up, exactly as Stas, you mentioned, different even chat bots and everything, yeah. Yet, if we are back, I really would like you guys to kind of underline here why AI agents are needed in iGaming. Why?
What
You know that
if
Simon Sinek recommends everyone start with why. So
yeah.
let's go with why.
I always say this, think about the things that don't change, right? No operator wants to give worse customer experience.
Oh
And
yeah,
no,
because
and
yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. I
these
will go
things,
to different one.
yeah, no, this won't change, right? Nobody wants to for their product to take longer to arrive. Yeah. No one wants poor quality. Those things are not going to happen. So if your value system as a company subscribes to providing better customer experiences, right? If your value system of your company says that a customer should be able um, to find what they want without having to search, without feeling like they're digging through lots and lots of content. Yeah. If you as an operator think that I want to make sure that I don't have any issues with responsible gaming. Yeah. I want to make sure that it's done fully compliant, maybe even better than compliant, right? If you subscribe, if you have a value system like that, and you want to kind of leverage the efficiency gains and the ability to scale without just adding more and more people to the business, right? And to actually create additional value that you can't create right now, that you can't release, then definitely AI is something to look at. It's already happening. We're seeing it in so many different areas, from behind the scenes, broadly speaking, accelerating development even. We're seeing lots of co-pilot type systems right now that are making Stas and his teams far easier. They can prototype very quickly concepts that would have taken weeks and weeks to do before. So yeah, the future there it's already happening. It's not so much why, it's more about how will I use it, I would say.
Okay. This is not about why, this is about how. Yet, Stas, why? This is the question from the audience. Why AI agents are needed in iGaming from technical perspective, I guess, right?
Well, before talking about iGaming, I would say that yes, I confirm that AI agents are already there. Actually, OpenAI recently announced, and there are hot debates about their AI software engineering agent for 10,000 and 20,000 for PhD level AI agent. And the research says that by the beginning of 2030, 30% of development tasks will be delegated to these AI software engineering agents. If there are developers, guys, you're safe, only 30%. So you will not be substituted completely.
Such a relief.
But the funny thing is that, okay, 30% of tasks, I believe it will be much more in percentage. And what will these guys doing if the 30% of their work or 50% of their work is delegated to AI? They will still work 100%, but they will tackle more sophisticated, more challenging tasks. So we will develop much faster. Imagine 20 years ago, it took several weeks or months to create a website. Now you can create a website in 15 minutes. There are a lot of actually websites who is doing it even without AI. With AI, like for instance, there are a lot of tools like Lovable Dev, for instance, and you can create a website just prompting, I want a website. And you just list what features you would like to have. It will do it for you. It's full stack AI agent. And talking about, do we need it there or here? We need to understand AI reshapes the whole industries, the whole clusters of economics. We have AI agents everywhere right now, right here, like in that song. If we talk any industry, we talk, okay, agriculture. Yeah, where is AI? Yeah, AI agents controlling drones who are checking what is going with your crop and watering it. AI agents even in agriculture. And if we talk about iGaming industry, you have to change your mind and you have to use it. Otherwise, in the next few years, your competitors will do it for sure. So if you don't do it, they will do it.
Can we advise how to do it? So basically, this is a combination of the how and why. Can we advise how to do it?
Yeah, absolutely. Of course we can. And that's what we do, actually. That's what gets me out of bed every morning. It's interesting, right, to talk to different use cases and understand how a business works. What are the opportunities there? We talked about the live dealer scenario with lip syncing, right? You could extend that easily forward to think about just dealing with an avatar or dealing with a voice. So it's really about changing your mindset. Ask yourself the question in the future, like another couple of years, is the concept of a casino lobby still relevant, right? In the way that we see it today? I don't think it'll look anything like that, right? Do you think it'll look how it does today, even a sportsbook lobby, with just all the odds and all that content that you've got to look for? You know, we hear so many complaints from people about how difficult it is to find what it is, that there's just so much content they just can't find, you know, the thing that actually is relevant to them. So the concept of having something which is directly a kind of one-to-one relationship with the operator in the way that you have with ChatGPT almost. You're not searching through reams and reams. You might ask it a complex question and it might think for a while, but you come back and it's absolutely relevant to what you asked for. Yeah, it's not like you're sifting through pages of search results anymore. I think that concept is changing very rapidly. Yeah.
We talked about the presence, we scratched base about the future. So I think I can tell that, okay, we cannot predict with some certain accuracy what will be in 3 months or 6 months, yet with the observation we already have, we can tell that what could be the direction, right? And
yeah,
like actually, using an eye, this is not about the power of the tool, it's about the imagination, you know, how bold you are to imagine how that will serve for the business one way or another. So now I think everyone really need to push the limits in the mind. So just a comment. Yeah. And I can see interesting comment if you guys don't mind to reflect on that. I think in the future we will have third avatars, 3D avatars, which present the odds to you, and you will interact with that through voice, maybe even eye movement to highlight the odds you are looking at. It seems to me actually, it like eye movement tracking, it's already happening. This is the, you know, the snow from yesterday, let's say like that. What about the other things?
Eduardo, would you like?
You go for it, Stas.
Okay, from technical perspective, very, very quickly. First of all, I would like to say that everything related to computer vision, it's already a past. Because, you know, we have plenty of sensors, cameras, vehicles around us, and everything is... it's about images and videos and about the data streaming. And you remember Big Brother watching you at this very moment. And the same we can leverage in whatever. So talking avatars with eye movements, who is understanding what you are talking, what you are pointing out, seeing your screen sharing. Yeah, it's reality. It can be done today. So if you'd like a solution for that, easy. I mean, it's not easy, of course, but if you experience enough and if you research this for enough time, then you can do it. And this is not a future. This is already here.
So I, as a customer, could benefit from what you already have. I mean, like you have your experience, you can do that, and I can benefit, even though I am not that much in the AI stuff so far. Okay. Eduardo, your quotation on the comment, do you think 3D avatars with everything? It's
so the first part, absolutely yes. The more complex part, of course, would be for it to kind of monitor your facial expressions and to see how excited you are. Okay, it's a really interesting one. With everything you need to with all of these new features and new inventions, you need to ground yourself with compliance and the regulatory side of that. That isn't going to go away, right? So that's another thing that doesn't change. So you have to be mindful that you need to adhere to the compliance points. I do think there's a lot that can be done in that area as well. It's already started. I mean, to reminder, AI is not especially new. It's been used already for quite a long time in compliance and the kind of AML side. Also in recommendations, even if we go back to like 2010, around then, the first simplistic kind of recommendation engines were already coming out. But what's happening now is we had the sort of a growth around, let's call them AI chatbots, is how they were initially called. They then kind of turned into more assistants, and now they're agents. So you kind of, to use a bit of a quirk, you need to think outside of the bot, right? Think beyond that and think about, what can I do with my business here? You probably should spend some time looking at the business and saying, what can do to either get my products to market more quickly, right? How can I catch information about unhappy customers and feed that back into product development instead of that taking months? How can I do that in days or hours, right? So think about it. So it's probably good to have a brainstorming internally. If I was a leadership team and an operator, I would be setting up some regular sessions to think about, what can we do? What are the biggest pressures that we have? We spend a lot of money as an operator acquiring new customers, right? Yeah. So it's a very costly thing to do.
I would like to share what crossed my mind, you know, while you've been talking, scaling and acquiring, that's a great thing. Yet, you know, always kind of new things are considered as a bit gray area, unknown thing, dangerous even to some extent. So, and that brings what to the topics which crossed my mind. The usage of the AI is growing exponentially. So rivals of the AI models and agents, cheaper, faster, whatever. Is there any standards? You know, if I use it, I want to be on the safe side. I mean, like as a business, because at the end I have to be compliant to a lot of things. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Anything
mean,
on that?
so yeah, obviously I would advise that you work with people that are recognized in the industry, right? So you would tend to find that you would work with solution providers that have worked and are working with widely recognized tool sets as well, whether that's a model that you know of, whether it's something that's from Google or whether it's an Azure product, you know, an OpenAI product. You know, it probably makes sense to use something that's widely recognized rather than an obscure model you've never heard of. And again, your baseline and all of your data privacy issues, your security standards that you currently have, you shouldn't forget those, right? So integrating some sort of AI solution, you need to make sure it follows the existing best practices that you already have as an organization. Shouldn't compromise those things. So that's super important, I would say. And does that answer your question, Alessia?
It does. Yet I have to say honestly, you know, I know that from this business point of view, it's like a terms and conditions, a lot of sentences. Yeah, I agree. Yet what again, from the technical point of view, is that like is standard at the place, and for example, customized solution, which for example we have, yeah, in our company, does that fit to the standards, Stas?
Well, first of all, if we talk about standards, we can talk about see it from different perspectives. So first of all, of course, there is always a legislation. European Union legislation, United States legislation, and the principles are the same. Yeah, GDPR cannot be violated because you are using something modern. So this is from this point of view. Second point is that whatever model, whatever AI you are using, don't share sensitive information. It's a law. It's just standard for everybody. Don't share sensitive information. Don't share your credit card number. Don't share anything which you don't want to be publicly available tomorrow. But of course, as Eduardo mentioned, if we're using the well-known brands, if we're using OpenAI, maybe Claude from Sonnet, or we are using Mistral, maybe Grok, but I would not suggest. DeepSeek, I would not suggest, but it's my own opinion. And if you use the well-known models, most likely they will follow the terms and conditions they share on their websites.
Yeah, there's another aspect to it, Alessia, as well. If you were, let's imagine that you were building some software that had to go through some form of official testing, right? Whatever it might be. If it was an AI version of it, you would still need to go through that process, right? So it still need to be certified by an authorized testing service provider that they have in the industry. I won't name them here, but there's a few big ones out there, normally with 3-letter acronyms, that verify and test that the return to player is correct and as stated, and those sorts of things, right? So you would still need to pass through those gates as a form of assurance and governance. Can't sidestep those, and it's important that you don't. And so you want to avoid you want to avoid really sidestepping any of those things. You still need to go through the same assurances that you would do with a, let's call it, traditional software application. The challenges are if you are faced with a solution, and we wouldn't do this, but if you were building, in essence, a black boxed AI solution, then you have some challenges to overcome. If you can't show how an AI came up with something, yeah, then it could land you in hot water, I would say.
And actually, one more thing. So again, coming back to legislation, you're working in Europe, you're using the well-known models. If you're working in other markets, for instance, in Asia, there are another legislation. So probably there can be some differences. And one more thing is that if you're using your local model, you deploy it in your local instance, and it's completely encapsulated inside that instance, and it doesn't have access to internet. It has an access to only to whatever you provided. So if it's your AI agent, it has access only to your database and only to some API, your internal API. So it's safe to use. You can use other models, whatever.
Yeah,
Just
and
pay for license.
that's something that we would do anyway, right, Stas? So when we're working with a new customer, the security and the setup of all the environments is one of the first things that we discuss, right? So, operators are very guarded about customer data, and so they should be. So, we normally start there and think, well, where is that? And make sure we're not exposing any of that. But it is certainly a key point there. I just wondered if we have, just conscious of time, if we have any more questions that we might need to go through.
Let me look into the question list if we do some. Yet, honestly, I would really love, guys, if you can, refrain on some future acting, because you mentioned here and there that future is now. Future is now. But from the wider perspective, what to expect, what could be the really very next step, how to benefit from the AI agent right now, not waiting for the future.
If let's just say it's quite a bit, the industry is wide. So let's imagine that you're an operator. Let's at least put it in some context here. Imagine if you're an operator, you could probably benefit from automating those heavily manual processes. I can give you one very simple one, right? And this was, again, a conversation I had with somebody in the industry. They, at the moment, when they've finished the manual process still of integrating a new casino provider, they have a bunch of people which go out there and play the game in their staging environment to check the bet limits and to make sure that the kind of risk profile is how they expect it. Now, can you imagine that? That's what they're doing as part of their 9 to 5. To me, that's a no-brainer to set up an AI agent which can do some of that, so that you have a light touch. You don't need to spend all of your time doing that yourself, essentially clicking buttons and playing a game. So that's just one small, very minor example. It would allow you then to focus on things that actually bring much more value to the business on the whole. But there's so many different examples I can think of, really. On the operational side, lots of them. Some of them might be just using tools yourself as a company. You'll be amazed how many people are still using very outdated tooling to get things done.
Now I am thinking about, let's say I place the bet. Would the AI agent offer me to place another bet if some score changes or whatever?
I mean,
because you mentioned that it might be dynamically thing, yeah?
Yeah, that falls into what the industry is calling micro betting. It's kind of a subset of live betting. And it's been around for a little while, where they used to be, well, they still are, quite simple. It might say something like, who's going to score next, right? But you could make it more sophisticated, so that if you imagine a live tennis match, you might find that whilst the match is being played, the AI suggests some odds for how many shots will there be in the next point. In other words, how long will the rally be? Okay, that's a pretty unique betting. So it's about adding some fun and some engagement, some different betting options that previously just weren't possible. So there's a lot of different things that you can do there, and the topic of kind of micro betting is quite a popular one in industry right now. there's a lot of talk going on there about how to offer that and kind of elevate the in-play experience to a whole nother level.
I have one question from audience for fun, but before that, I'm trying to keep Stas' technical knowledge applied that much as possible. So means again, dynamically, it's possible, right? And
Actually, I would
because I saw you nodded, but
so we talked, it's reality. What is the future? The future is that it will be used everywhere. Balanced, of course. And if we talk about what is the future in iGaming as well, we just provide the thinking models which can reasoning models, data sources, and we give them ability to make action plans and act. That's all. They will act independently. First, business will go with not very sensitive, not very critical parts of their routine. So it will business will delegate these parts to AI agents. I believe in the nearest future there will be plenty of AI agent as a service. Of course, cloud-based. We're talking about local one. So, and it's the same as we used sometimes we used to started using computers, then we moved to laptops. Now we're using everywhere smartphones. Tomorrow we will use AI agents. So this is like the nearest future. And if we talk about the example from Eduardo, yeah, connect your search database, connect your user profiles and their history, connect the event streaming, and let AI do it for you. Don't make the algo. You want a betting? Okay, it will make a betting for you. It will check your balance. Why not? It can. It's smart and it has an access. It will not give a balance of another user to public. No, it will not work like this. It will check the event if it's still open. It will go to check the odds. Maybe they have been drastically shifted from since 1 minute. And it will make a bet. It's like you know, it's like your assistant betting
yeah,
whatever.
the same. That was on tip of my tongue. That's like a personal assistant.
Personal assistant, and it's not something unreal or something which you need to spend millions of dollars, and you just need to call us.
And maybe the final one. So guys, just don't be afraid. Please, I'm asking the audience, post your question. We promise to get them addressed either to Stanislav or to Eduardo later under the video or individually, whatever you prefer. Yeah, publicly, the last one, yet I like the good one, I am sure. Does an iGaming AI agent know when I should stop playing?
Well, it could do, yes. If it was under the kind of responsible gambling side of things, it could certainly detect some. That's an area actually where work is being done. So it's player behavior. So yes, it could set off some triggers that might send you a message that says, "Excuse me, it looks like have you considered slowing things down a little bit?" It could also work the other way. It could spot behavior where it might suggest an intervention. Right, and suggest that you might want to self-exclude for a little while, or have you thought about a cooling off period? So those things are actually already possible.
Some time ago, many years ago, I was working on one startup, and there was we were gathering the user engagement, user interactions, and there was one metric called angry clicks. So if the user is frustrated, he is starting clicking, on his mouse. Well, maybe maybe it's not common for everybody, but there were plenty of
it is.
doing like this, and it was a metric, and based on that metric, the business analysis, they knew that okay, something was going wrong there during that or those scenario. With AI agent, we don't need to provide this algo of angry clicks. No, we just need to explain, and this is prompt engineering. It's not easy task. It's not 5 minutes like you're doing in your GPT. No, it's completely different. It's different system prompts. It's a lot of things. The prompts could be quite heavy, but within that prompt, we can make, we can provide for the AI agent that the goal to stop the player if he or she or it identifies that the player is gonna do something, it's responsible gaming or something like that. Yeah. So we don't need to provide algo. Just tell AI what to do, it will do it.
I love to have such a kind of thing. Just tell what I want, and everything is done automatically, exactly in the way I wanted. Guys, I am very much grateful for your time. And since we kind of aimed for 1 hour conversation, hour is gone. It was like, phew. I hope we will continue having that, interactions. What I learned for sure that, it's here. There is no reason to be afraid of that. The better to know how to use it, and just buckle up. And when vision meets expectation, this is the perfect combo, honestly. Thank you very much, Stas. Thank you
You're
very much,
welcome.
Eduardo.
Take
Thank
care.
you for
Have a good rest
invitation.
of the day.
Bye-bye.
We'll see you.
Bye. Ciao.
Bye.